All right, so I've started recording here on my end. So, Kingdom is a game that is about kingdoms, about a community. We'll be playing out a community, and it sort of plays a little bit stylishly like Fiasco in that we kind of build stuff and we call scenes and we go around. Except, unlike Fiasco, we're not trying to destroy it. And not trying to kill everybody, and we're actually valuing the kingdom and trying to create and preserve it. And a kingdom just means an institution, a setting that we create together. There are a couple of things. Is essentially we go through, we do some detailing on the kingdom, then we'll do character creation, which will establish roles, and it'll establish relationships between us. And then we'll go and we'll play through. What we do is there's a thing called a crossroad. And a crossroad is a question that faces the kingdom. And it's kind of a big meta question, some issue that has to be resolved. Crossroads are phrased as yes and no. Either the kingdom does one thing or it doesn't do it. And there's a choice, and we're going to develop what the repercussions are for yes and no on that, and play out scenes related to that as we kind of add on to what's going on with the question. One thing that's kind of important about that crossroads to remember, and I'll come back to this when we talk about the crossroads themselves, is sometimes when you're playing along, you'll find kind of another option, something that is sort of a third way besides the yes-no. Functionally for the game, that's usually a no. So the question would be answered no because you're doing it a different way. So that's one way to think about that. Another thing is that once we get to establishing our characters, each of us will have a very distinct role, the power or perspective or touchstone. Each of those is sort of a meta role that we're going to play out, and there'll be some duplicates. And they will kind of allow you certain powers and also restrict you from doing certain things. And we'll talk about that when we come to it. Probably because there are 5 of us and we want to be done by 10:30 Eastern. We may only get through one crossroad. We'll see. It depends on how scenes go. We've seen this in Questlandia and other ones where we can call scenes. Sometimes we expand to fill the particular vacuum. So let's go ahead and start with the construction of the kingdom, and I've got the Google Doc up, and we're going to go through and we're going to customize some details, and I've taken it straight from the kingdom seed that's in the book, but we can modify that, we can change things, and again, this is all sort of open discussion, general choice on these things. So we've got established that it is a school of wizardry. And the most important thing here, I think, is this start is, on the customize, is Winterhook exists in the modern world, early industrial society, cluttered with smokestacks, medieval world of castles, knights, and serfs. Those are the 3 options, or something else. Anybody have a strong preference or strong visualization for yourself? Any of those not interesting?
Medieval.
Okay.
Not interesting.
All right.
Yeah, I would agree.
Okay. So, modern
Early
times?
industrial society sounded interesting.
Okay. Let's...
Different take on it.
You guys good with that?
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah, that's fine.
All right. We can...
I'm all good with mudlarks and...
Yes. We can play how much we want it Victorian or colonialist or whatnot, or even Regency. And we'll come back to that. We can kind of play around with that, how much it's in the real history or not. So the second question is, the school was created as a charitable organization to shelter and help masterless wizards, a prison set up by a populace fearful of wizards, a secret place where magically gifted children are hidden because magic is forbidden, or something else. Any of those good, bad, or another option?
Charitable organization doesn't seem like it has enough tension in it.
Okay.
At least for my tastes. I think I'm okay with either of the other two.
Okay.
Well, we're in a land of early industrial horrors, so why don't we go with something lovely, and this will be the magical gifted children who are hidden from.
Okay. And maybe we could, how about we put, or at least what they're told?
They're told. Yes.
How about that?
Lovely.
Okay, just to mix it up. The school itself is in a wooded hinterland, leagues from the nearest town, on a lonely isle far from prying eyes, hidden in the very heart of a thriving city behind seemingly mundane doors or at the end of twisted paths. Any of those more or less appealing?
I'm kind of leaning towards city, but that may just be me.
I was thinking the same thing.
I know,
In the midst of the city, it's intriguing.
it seems like so many problems can come out of that.
Yeah.
Really.
It's pretty much all problems.
Yeah. Okay. And then here's an interesting one. Your potential for magic is something you inherit from your ancestors. It's in the blood, decided by the stars you're born under, only revealed once you're exposed to some source of mystical power or some other way.
I feel like there might be another option there. I don't know. I'm trying to play against Hogwarts as much as I can.
Mm-hmm.
So, how about like something where it's infused in you?
Oh,
Like somebody
create it.
intentionally makes you magical? Like whether, like perhaps when you're very young or something, and it might be that you volunteer to become magical, but a lot of times it's that if it's children, perhaps they didn't volunteer.
maybe
I don't know.
when a
Just
someone-
throwing it out.
Brought under control before it's...
It's a curse from the Fae.
Well, if it's the other option is if it's an early industrial society. I mean, a lot of early industrial societies had like the workhouses for the kids. So it may be something that the kids get through handling certain unregulated items for
Oh, I
the
like
pennies
that
they
idea.
earn each day.
It's like they started painting radium on the watch hands, and now suddenly they have powers.
Okay.
Oh, that's horrible.
All right.
Sorry,
Oh, that's
So a couple of generations of that, or what are we thinking here? Or are these new students that have this new crop of students has arisen because of handling magic, and it's maybe unusual?
I kind of like the idea that it's still so new that they're still trying to figure out what to do with it, or what to do with the children kind of thing. We've just kind of hidden them away temporarily till we can find a permanent fix.
Okay, well that'll really distinctly change what we're going to do in terms of threats and locations. That's the only thing I'll say about that.
Oh.
I mean, I'm just it's cool, but we're going to have to retool some things. If you guys are cool with that,
yeah. We can retool.
okay.
We
All
got
right.
brains.
So how do we want to describe that?
Okay.
Magic
I like-
was a
Is a side effect of a misfortune with no tradition for handling it. Does that sound right? A decent synopsis?
of a recent, but you said a recent industrial process?
Yeah, that's cool. I take that as misfortune.
Hmm.
Oh, here, let me suggest something on that. How about, yes, there are these magically gifted kids who can sort of naturally cast magic, but there were mages before, and they all had to work super hard at it.
yeah.
Like the Jonathan Strange and Mr. Norrell, they had to spend, years mastering these techniques, and now these kids just, have this magical talent.
I like that. It creates a little bit of tension between the kids and the
Oh, and there'd be a ton
Elderly
of class
perpetrators.
things too, since these are kids that have come out of the workhouses.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
All right. So now that we've got that,
I
we're
think
gonna.
the place is just going to implode.
Yeah. No, we don't want it to implode right away.
We don't even need Andrea this game.
Yes. You're just handing her the hatchet.
Exactly.
So we pick 3 threats. These are kind of looming things that are dangers to the school. Also, are we cool with the name Winterhook, or do we want another name for it?
That's fine. It's a good placeholder, I think.
Okay, so we'll go with Winterhook.
I mean, yeah.
It's from the old tradition of magic, so
Okay.
Yes. I like that. I like that. And it's supposed to sound nice and comforting.
Yes. So it just has hook in the name, though. But anyway.
well, but it sounds like a gentleman's club. That
So we can come up with new threats based on what we've done in that sort of early customization, or we can look and see if any of these threats that are listed there, we have to end up with 3, seem appealing. So we've got students have been secretly passing around a crumbling copy of the Scrolls of Canos, despite the master's forbidding the ancient text. The master who's been driven mad and has to be imprisoned. Some students are more powerful than the teachers expected. Oh, that one's good.
Yeah, it almost fits.
Okay, so let's definitely go with that one. I'm going to italicize that just so we remember that one. 3 students escaped the school right on the master's noses, and the local Lord Burgermeister Mayor is secret partner and protector, but is reconsidering allowing the school to operate in his domain.
well, especially if it was the local industrial.
Right. What do you call those people?
Industrialist.
Yeah.
How about something like that?
Essentially, it was his workhouse that.
Right.
And he's hoping to figure out some way to make a buck off of this.
Okay.
Of course.
All right, so we'll take that one. Okay. Third one, Rishi, what do you think?
I kind of like the idea about the mage being driven mad, and that's one of the reasons that these students are being kept at close. These students are being watched carefully, just because they know that magic can be dangerous. Perhaps Numasrin was one of the people who exhibited magical powers before naturally without having to learn it, and he was very mad by it. I don't know.
Oh, and maybe he was one of the oldest of the children that got the powers.
Yeah,
and so they're now
maybe
maybe
master doesn't mean master, but master in the sense of like a young lord or something.
Okay, in fact, we'll just do.
I don't know.
I like young master.
Young master.
There we go. Okay.
Well, he sounds awful too.
Yes. All right. So there are.
And you still got the 3 students escaping. Are we gonna leave that in there?
Nope, we got those. So
Okay.
there are
Hooray.
our 3 threats. All right. So now we need to pick locations. Essentially, each of us is going to come up or pick 2 locations. There's some suggestions there. A lot of this might not work for what we've got. And we'll kind of go around. In fact, let me go ahead and establish. I'm going to write our play order here based on what I can see. And I'll copy it again later. So the play order is Noel, Andrea, Rishi. Oh, I can hear the ice cream truck going by.
Oh, ice cream.
There we go. All right, so that's going to be our play order. So each of us will come up with one or pick one off of there, and I'll start. So, let me think here. So mine is the barracks, where the students are housed, and a stack like cordwood. I'm picturing essentially the big orphan's room from Cider House Rules or any of those English school kids things. So that's my location that I'm making up. Andrea?
Can I still the labyrinth but change it?
Sure, please.
Okay. So instead of the library, oh my gosh, what was the name? Young Master New Mosrin? No.
We could change that name. It's
fine.
under our control.
Yes.
Once we get used to saying it, it won't be so bad.
All right. Pneumosphrin. It sounds like a pain reliever.
I can tell you, after 2 years, I still can't say Yarla Hotep
Oh, yeah.
without talking. So, and I played in the campaign for quite a while for that. And so, you won't necessarily get used to it.
It will simply become non-Euclidean for you.
That sounds more interesting than a library.
Awesome. All right. Rishi, the first of your locations.
I think I like the idea of the Chamber of Mirrors, but I think I'm also going to change it slightly. So instead of seeing possible future selves, how about alternate selves?
Ooh.
Mm.
Selves. And mirrors are possibly a gateway to other realities.
Ooh.
That's the rumor.
Yeah. So let's say that's the rumor.
Sherry.
All right. Well, this is supposed to be an attractive possibility for mages, at least the ones who had come up the old way. So there has to be a place like the inner parlor. It is a preternaturally. I wish I could spell.
Yep.
Naturally cozy parlor. Referred to as tea and biscuits by the staff.
All right. William.
Okay. Guess kind of going quote unquote mundane, but what has been affectionately called the war room by the kids. Yeah. I'll figure that in a minute.
I like it like that. The war room.
War room.
The war room.
Which is there? Where students go to test out new spells.
Ah, okay.
Uh-huh.
Kind of the lab, so to speak.
I like it.
Yeah, I think I am going to do that. That's going to
Okay. Let's see. I will add Okay, so the Old Forge is the original alchemical lab for the old mages, where some still work and try to develop new items, and some word that doesn't spell techniques, but now it does because I hit the. Would you like to respell that, lol?
I don't know what you're talking about. It's
Yes.
spelled correctly the whole time.
Andrea, second one.
Gosh. Walking trees. That is fantastic. It doesn't actually fit, but it's fantastic.
That's because you ran that corrupted ant that one time.
I did. That was a lot of fun, and I enjoyed it immensely. Let's see. So let's do. I'm kind of stealing this one again. Yeah, we'll do all the thieving today.
Yeah. Sounds good.
Except I'm not calling it the Hall of Secrets, because that's like a different thing, possibly.
Wow.
Wow, that got
Sometimes
dark.
you get test answers down there.
Yeah.
Well, it's like, it's any secret school.
Right. It's gotta be horrible.
All right, Rishi, your second location. I think I can take this hat off now.
Hooray!
Hooray. Hat hair.
It's not that bad. Ooh.
Creepy. Neat. All right.
I decided to make this a happy session.
Yes.
Okay.
Sherry.
All right. Whoa, what did I do? I did a bad thing.
No, you didn't.
No, you can type it up there. I guess it doesn't really
Yeah.
matter.
No.
As long as you don't add it to the bottom of the list, because we'll never find it.
Grand lobby for receiving public or non pages when necessary.
Okay.
Travel back to the school proper requires passing multiple thresholds that test for your capability. So a non-magic user can't get back to the school possible. Leaving the school means divesting yourself of any magical items.
Ooh.
Oh, so it's the TSA for.
Exactly. Kind of
Way
a
to-
big jerk with a
Way to
wand.
take all the fun out of it.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then William, you can take us home here.
Do all of these locations have to be within Winterhook?
They should be areas that might appear during the game, that scenes might take place in. So you could certainly do a place outside, nearby, something like that.
I was almost thinking of a regular, like, mundane pub that
Oh,
kids always go off to that they're not supposed to, but
I like that.
You just have to name it.
I know, and that's what I've been trying to come up with something that actually sounds incredible.
Could steal one of the names down below.
Yeah. Right. I will think. That's a good English. Well, are we actually in?
Are you stuck on a name, or are you thinking it has no name?
Like
I hadn't even
the
thought of
nameless
that, but
pub?
yeah, I can't even think of a name right now. I'm just nothing that sounds good, but no name might be.
Nameless door.
I think you should just go with Lowell's Old Standby,
Which is what?
because the Golden Hind.
Oh yeah, Golden Hind.
I like that nameless door. Matches with the whole threshold.
All right. So I'm going to destroy these other locations.
Destroy.
They are
Destroy.
vanished. Okay. So now we are going to come up with our characters. And we're going to kind of type them in on this next page that says characters and roles. And the book actually has you kind of pick your role first, but I think it might be more useful in some ways to think about your character and then kind of decide what you want in terms of role. So your character can be anybody that appears in here. It should be somebody significant, somebody that can interact with other people. It can be somebody in power. It can be somebody not in power. Your character should have a vested interest in the kingdom remaining. Your character shouldn't be, one who wants to destroy the school, Andrea. So just
I never want to destroy anything. It
Right.
just turns out that way.
That it's necessary.
Let me talk about the three roles the game assigns to people, and we'll kind of think about our characters and give us a few minutes to kind of consider that. But the three roles are the power. The power, whoever is a power character, it might not necessarily be that their character's in charge, but as a player, you're going to be able to make the decisions. You're going to be able to say what happens when we get to that choice. Usually you do have a character that's kind of in that power role, but you might also be, advisor to somebody who's in power or somebody who just knows about what's going on in the power situation. But in practical play, the power is the person who makes that decision, that yes, no, when we get to the end of a crossroad. The power can also make promises. Essentially, say if their character can make threats or promises about what will happen if somebody does something. So there is a way to kind of put some leverage on people. For example, in one of the games we played, I was a power and I was in charge of marketing for the newspaper, and there was another player who was a old veteran reporter who wanted something done in a particular way. I didn't want it done that way, so essentially I threatened that his pension would get cut if he did that way. And then, of course, he did it that way, and I cut his pension, and his life was ruined. Because that's what I do when I play a power character. So that's one of the roles.
So we need someone else to take the power character.
Right.
Not me.
The perspective is the person who says what happens when the choices are made. They establish facts that if X is chosen, if we choose yes, then these things will happen. Or if Y is chosen, if no is chosen, then these things will happen. They have the opportunity at the end to choose whether those actually go off or not, but they essentially establish facts and consequences for when we resolve the crossroad. And the last one, and sometimes this seems like the weakest one, but it can be manipulated in some really obnoxious ways, is the touchstone. And the touchstone, they know what the desires of the populace are. They know what the desires of the people are. They tell us what people are thinking in regards to events and changes in scenes and things. So they they essentially are public opinion, and they can sway and cause effects on that way by increasing or decreasing the level of tension and crisis. So we'll come back to those roles here, and if at any point you go, I think this character is going to be X, you can say that. And so the first thing is I'm going to ask who you are, who's your character, and what do you look like. So we've got to kind of come up with that, and I need to think about that because I don't know quite yet. But if anyone already has an idea, then they can go ahead and jump forward.
I have one.
Okay.
It came to me. Okay, so her name is Capricia Girth, and she's the faculty captain of the Winterhook Quilters Circle and a former full-contact needling champion of the northeastern region of Western Unapologetic Wizards League.
Okay.
How's that? So what?
That just
It
came
did.
to you.
No, it was like I could see my gym teacher.
Okay.
So I pretty much just had to come up with a ridiculous sport. So I think full contact needling is
Okay.
that sport.
I like it.
All right. And we'll come back to that. You can write up a little summary. And if you think you know, do you think you know whether you want to be power, perspective, or touchstone?
See, I think of her as being from the old school thing, but she's super invested in winning one last regional for Winterhook. So she's really she's invested in these young, powerful mages. This is her chance for a win.
Okay. So
I just got echoes of Glee there.
yeah.
Yes. I've never seen Glee, so
Good for you.
She doesn't watch television.
I used to work in television. It stresses me out. Okay.
Anyone else have?
Gentlemen.
Okay, I got one. Let me see. And let's see here.
What's the backroom staff level?
Essentially, all the people who work behind the scenes, all the behind the scenes staff, head of the backroom staff, and master of the kitchens.
Mm-hmm.
and I picture him as older and a little cynical about the wizards because he spent years trying to learn and failed, even though he trained with some of these legendary masters, and then these kids have come around. He doesn't so much resent the kids as he resents the wizards for having wasted some of his life, but he's still part of this society. And he is one who kind of goes around and is behind the scenes and has access to food, so which makes him gives him a certain kind of respect and authority. And I think I'm going to make him a touchstone because he knows what people are thinking.
Pretty sure only knows what she's thinking.
Right.
Huh.
All right. Who's next?
Perspective.
I'm gonna hang out over here because I play too many games. So
No, I think you're going to use that excuse all the time, aren't you?
yes.
Okay.
Works hard for it, though.
Yes.
Mhm.
Rishi, William?
Still grasping.
Sure. So let's see. Actually, we've got, I think, if I look at the Winterhook thing, they have some ideas for character seeds. And this may not apply, given how much we've changed things, but the character seeds they offer are Master who thinks the students are a menace that must be contained, Master who cares for the students, Master who wants to be left alone to do magic, Master who is himself a prisoner of the school, a new student seemingly incompetent, new student, comma, prodigy, senior student eager to move up and out, a popular student, social ringleader, a shade spy who pretends to be a student but is really a magical creation of the masters to spy on students, the warden who keeps the doors and gates of the school.
Ooh.
Ooh, nice.
He has to be a professor of something.
Mm. Ooh, that's good.
Head professor of infusion. Ah, nice. All right.
Do a thing, Will.
Um,
I love how Sherry's just still typing away happily.
Do. I
That's
know.
what she does.
Head cannon.
Yeah, remind me to tell you, I have some headcanon for the Questlandia game that I don't think is going to get to the table.
Yay!
okay.
I'm trying to be the one that blows up Questlandia for you, Andrea, so you don't have to be that one.
It's just really hard to play it the way you're supposed to.
Yeah.
Or that we think maybe we're supposed to. I'm not sure.
Ooh.
Aha.
What was it called? Um, long has this school been around?
Gosh,
Yeah,
I think we were establishing.
Well, I think the
Or
professor of magical history would be the one who knows.
So we say that the
It's a couple
school
generations at least.
that the school itself has been around for the older, deep studious mages. The handful of those for maybe generations, but the new students are relatively recent, right?
Hmm?
Everyone else is playing grown-ups.
He says, I know this is not the right word, but he's too young to be an ancestor. But
Sure. Oh, nice.
Oh,
You
Ooh.
mean descendants rather than ancestors?
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Well, I could go either way
Yeah.
here.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, now that you say that.
Yeah.
yeah, descendant would be after. Yeah.
no, I like ancestor because it's kind of wackadoo. Your great grandson founded the school, and then you came here to teach.
Hmm.
What do I want to say here?
Are you the chosen one, Andrea?
I am the chosen one.
You were the chosen one.
Oh, Ren, she could be a needling great. She just needs a little coaching. And some work on the vaults.
Right.
Well, there's that.
If you can't stick your landing, it just doesn't count.
Okay. So, what about Ren and Samuel Winterhook? What are their roles?
I almost see Samuel having to be a perspective.
Okay.
I don't know.
Okay.
That's a role I didn't want to take.
Oh,
the
honey.
character's deciding for me.
Okay.
Oh, touchstone. I just wrote touchstone.
I knew you
touchstone.
did. I knew what you did there. I see what you did there. All right. The next thing you need to establish for your character, and you can write this essentially after it, are 3 locations that you'll typically be found in. And they don't necessarily have to be off that list up above, but feel free to grab off of that. And we can kind of just come up with those here. So. Oh, that's a good idea. Sherry's all like, I can do dots. Now
I love
now I
dots.
have to
Dots
figure-
are the bestest. They're super powerful.
Oh, that's where they are. There they are.
Sherry's kind of a genius, I'm not going to lie.
Yeah.
Hmm. Yeah, I think Capricia likes a. Here's the thing. Are you going to type in my wish and fear, Lowell?
No, I'm just going to show the formatting. That's what I'm doing. That was being
Okay.
helpful, lady.
I thought you were just being extra helpful.
Yeah,
Yeah. He's like that.
sometimes. All right. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to define either a wish or a fear for our character. And it is about the kingdom's future. It's not kind of a personal thing. It's about what you hope the kingdom will do or hope the kingdom will become, or what you fear the kingdom will do or fear the kingdom will become. So it should be not about any specific person, but much more about the sort of ideals there. I don't think you can wish for more wishes.
Is that not allowed?
That's not allowed. Okay. So Sherry says Winterhook will regain its status as a regional powerhouse among sporting.
Wizards. Because what better wish could there be? It's altruistic, practically. Personal gain and it's not the same as trophies, right? So it'll be fine. That'll be good.
What was that?
I said personal gain is not the same as trophies,
That's
right?
true. That's fair
Okay.
enough.
Yeah, I'm thinking more in terms of wealth,
Exploitation.
wealth, power.
Non-sporting exploitation,
All
right?
right. Ooh, interesting, Ren.
Oh, you should probably, if it's a wish, say wish, and if it's a fear, say fear.
Oh, but I like leaving mine ambivalent.
That's super
That's
creepy.
adolescent.
Depends on the day you catch her.
Oops.
I have it, I just can't put it to words.
Sorry.
Optimist.
Optimist.
Pessimist.
Okay. So the next thing that we have to decide is an issue. You're going to name a personal issue that holds your character back. It could be a personality flaw, a difficult personal relationship. Again, consider something you're interested in playing. They give some examples. Father Jacoby doubts his faith. The editor of the Daily Sentinel has a drinking problem. Sheriff Lowe has a good-for-nothing older brother. All of those could be essentially your issue. And we'll read ours when we're got those in there. Just 1 year to retirement, of course. Oh. Infernal bargains?
Who knows? Is that what it is?
Okay. Do you want to read that out? And then I'll read mine out.
Okay, the issue for Capricci Curse is that she has just 1 year to her retirement for her to whip things into order for the future of Winterhook. Then she has to repay the bargain she made for her exemplary needling skill.
Okay. And I took, for Donegal Zabo, while he says he's given up on becoming a wizard, Zabo would sell his mother out for a serious chance at magical power.
I've got Diego. I have previously been chastised for putting the needs of the students ahead of the needs of the school and do not want to lose the job.
Oh, job security is hanging on by a thread. Oh, yeah, perfect issue. You've built that in there already for Samuel Winterhook. You want to read that out, William?
He's willing to do anything to prevent others from discovering who he really is.
Dun, dun, dun.
trying to think of what the word is. Me and the words. Oh my god.
In nature.
I know what I want to say.
Okay.
So mine is Ren's magic is tied to her emotions, which are extremely unstable.
Awesome.
So we should put in parentheses adolescent.
Super teen.
Super teen.
All right. So the last thing we're going to do in this character building is we're going to build some bonds. And essentially, we're going to describe a connection to the character that comes immediately after you in the play order list. So I put that at the top. So I'm going to describe a relationship with Ren, with Andrea's character. Andrea's going to describe her relationship with Rishi. Rishi with Sherry.
Oh, okay. Play order.
Yeah.
Maybe we could cut and paste so that these are actually in play order.
What? You're nuts. Okay.
Actually, I have to agree with him. I was all confused
Okay.
with yours.
All right. So I will do the cut and paste thing here, so we don't get. What's the did that? Okay. All right. Give me a second here. Oh, I did it again.
Did you lose it?
How
Yeah.
you've typed it like 7 times.
Control C. Derp derp derp. Control V. There we go. Okay. And then we go down here and we grab Ren and we cut it and hopefully don't destroy it. And then we put it there. And then grab that.
If you destroyed it, I would just make something worse.
I
It's totally
know.
fine.
I don't want that to happen. Okay. I believe that they are now in play order.
Is that how it looks to you guys?
No.
Yeah,
Lowell,
me neither.
Andrea, Rishi, Sherry,
No, it looks fine to me.
William.
Yeah.
Huh.
So
I've got Andrea, Lowell, Rishi, William.
Okay.
me.
Yeah, so the way the hangout works is the people on the bottom are always in alphabetical order, except you are always last.
Oh, so why don't we put these in?
No.
Alphabetical
We've
order.
They
got the
are in
play,
alphabetical order, except Lowell's first.
yeah, we've got the play order from what I've been. Anyway.
Okay, that's cool.
Okay, so there's the
Lowell's name is right in the middle of the alphabet, so it's just offensive to my sense of
And we're gonna
I
go
know.
counterclockwise, Sherry.
My
Actually,
brain
we're
breaks.
going to go alphabetical based on the second letters of our names
Oh
this time.
no.
So
How
cruel.
about whoever bids the most in this round?
Oh no.
Like it's Martin Wall's game.
Oh my God, yeah.
Good.
Oh man. All right, so I'm going to describe the relationship with Ren. So. Oh.
Yes. Oh God, that's possibly the saddest thing you
I
could have
know
done.
exactly.
Oh God.
All right, so that's mine. So he's been supplying her Ren with extra food in the hopes that he'll seem cool. It has to be in quotes and air quotes. Okay.
Hmm.
I want to see where this is going.
Yeah, this is filled with
Oh
disaster
God,
potential.
everyone's waiting on me.
Well, we're watching you. Yeah.
Oh no. Oh no.
You guys can be typing in your relationship too while this is going on, and I'll go.
Do we type back to the other person who?
Nope, you just do one
No.
relationship. We just
Okay.
do sort of clockwise.
What scholarship? Is there a grant for money?
Okay.
Perhaps we can get a ringer in here.
Okay.
Okay, so I put Ren thinks Diego's kindness and support is too good to be true, and she's always waiting for the other shoe to drop.
Awesome. And Diego.
Oh yeah. So he is Capricia's boss and is worried that her scholarship is suffering due to her obsession with recapturing this championship. Also, he's under pressure for the school to kind of earn all the money that the patrons are pouring into it. And so there is also some pressure that dead weight on the faculty may go.
A championship would prove that Winterhook is worth their donations. Why do you think they're endowing us? It's for the sports.
And then Capricia.
Poor Samuel. He's my go-to sympathetic ear, whether he wants to be or not. To her mind, he remembers the good old days. Really, he does. She just really never lets him get a word in edgewise, but he's terribly reassuring to her. So,
All right.
Oh, security blanket.
Yes.
exactly.
Got with Donegal.
Mm-hmm.
He always seems to have some kind of new book or recipe, whether food or spell, that offers some new source of information.
Okay. Teasing out with strange arcane recipes. That
That he
works.
isn't aware he's doing. It's really his true magic. It's so tragic. No one's recognized it.
That's adorable.
All right, so I'm going to read aloud briefly. We would pass this around if we were sitting at a table, but I'm going to go ahead and just read this aloud here because I love the sound of my own luxurious man voice. So, this is the kingdom in a nutshell from the book, and Crossroads. We've got our kingdom and we've got our characters. Now we're going to play to see how our characters shape the kingdom and how the kingdom shapes them. As players, we're going to confront our kingdom and our character with crossroads, critical decisions the kingdom must make, decisions that may change the kingdom forever. Does the kingdom invade its neighbor? Does it outlaw the new religion? Crossroads are the major arcs for our game. They are the chapters of the story we're making. It's our job to make the great crossroads that push the kingdom and the characters to territory that interests us. We never make a crossroad that doesn't interest us. You might even introduce a crossroad that your character dreads, but you think would be interesting. Now, I'm going to have you guys scroll down past the character things, and you'll see I've got a page here. This would be usually represented by 3 cards on the table. Before we see the final decision the kingdom makes about the crossroad, we'll take turns creating scenes and role-playing them together. We'll explore the crossroad and see what our characters think and do about it. We might find out the situation is a lot more complicated than we thought. Each of these 3 cards, which is the will, the kingdom, the crisis, and the time passes, is a countdown. On your turn, you get to pick which to check and which moves closer to completion. When all of the boxes on a card are checked, we'll pause and play to see what happens. When all the boxes on the crossroad, the will, the kingdom, are full, we'll play to see what choice the kingdom makes and what the consequences are. When all the boxes on the crisis card are full, we'll see whether the kingdom survives the crisis or is destroyed. Characters may flee the kingdom if it's destroyed. And finally, when all the boxes on time passes our card are full, there's a break in our action so we can rest, reflect, and time may pass. Whenever we finish a card, we'll actually start a new one. The roles work like this. Each role gives you a different way to influence the kingdom and the crossroad. Perspective, you can predict the consequences of picking different sides of the crossroad. It's your job to show us what's really at stake. The touchstone, you decide how the people of the kingdom feel and what they want. You can instantly define the kingdom and show us how the people react to what is happening. The power, after seeing the consequences and hearing what the people want, you get to decide what the kingdom actually does. It doesn't seem fair, does it? Only power gets to decide what the kingdom does? No, it isn't fair, but it might be balanced. Power makes the choice, perspective and touchstone determine the consequences. Now, eventually someone's going to do something in the kingdom that you don't like. And so you have an opportunity to affect that, to intercede. You can, if you want to, change your role. If you want a different voice in the kingdom, or if your old role doesn't seem like a good fit anymore. And there's a process that we go through where you give something up and you make that shift to do that. You can challenge another character to stop something they do or establish. If the power decides to arrest someone, you can bust them out of jail. If a touchstone says the people are angry, give a speech to calm the mob. And there's a negotiation that goes on at that point when you go to actually challenge somebody on something. If challenging somebody isn't enough, if you want to stop what another character is doing with their role entirely, you can overthrow them and take that role for yourself. You storm the Capitol and take away their power. The options are listed at the bottom of the roll card. And if you look, I've got that PDF with the roll cards there, and that has good briefings about what you can do there. And we'll kind of go through as people take their scenes and show how that actually works. Now, we'll start by putting together a crossroad, and then we'll go around in play order. And in play order, you will make up a scene. You will set a scene and play that out. You kind of, you again, acknowledge what the crossroad is, and you state your role. You describe the situation that's happening. If there are characters there, you talk about why they're present. Try and make a clear kind of scene. Your character has to be there, but you can bring in other people or have other people play NPCs. You describe where it takes place. And essentially you kind of play out a scene to show what happens. When a scene is done, then we'll go through and we'll look at what happens after that. For example, the perspective can make predictions after a scene comes. The touchstone can take a moment to describe what the people are feeling. The power can make promises or threats. And we'll kind of come to that as we go through the different scenes. Basically, you're narrating a scene. You're going to have the chance to do something with your ability. Other people will also have a chance to do a quick response if they want or not. And I'll show you when we get to that first scene how that works. And then we move on. And we're going to go around until all of the boxes, all 6 boxes, because there's one more than number of players, are ticked on the Will of the Kingdom. So you'll see how we do it in play. My question here is, what do we want as the crossroad? If we look at the Winterhook plot seed, I think that we have some crossroads there that are examples. Do any of those seem interesting to you guys? Or that we could modify them?
Well, there's the more powerful one.
Teach students powerful sorcery?
Yeah.
Wait, I was thinking some teachers are more powerful than we expected.
Oh, I'm down at Crossroads.
Oh God, I'm a goof. I'm sorry.
I'm on the Winterhook seed page. Here, I'll grab the Crossroads and I'll bring them over. I'll put them, if I can, over here at the end. I think I can. Let's see if that works. Hey.
Well, I think the most natural one, especially because we're probably only going to get through one, is whether or not the school will remain open.
Okay.
And what it will look like if it does.
Well, how do we? Would that? Well, I think that though that's sort of a will the kingdom rise or fall? I mean, that's essentially will the kingdom be destroyed or not? How about?
Have the students magically duel each other to test their skills.
Okay. What do you guys think of that as a crossroads? A question that is put to the school. Is there enough back and forth on that? Does that seem reasonable?
Their talent is untested. Only until we know what they're capable of can we teach them the appropriate way.
Do we have enough people on both sides of that?
I don't know.
I don't know.
How about? Well, how about this? Let's do the strip Master Mampley of his magic for raising the spirits of dead masters of the school to learn their secrets, and we'll do young master. So we have one of these students that's come in, and he's been able to use his magic to raise the spirits of dead masters of the school to learn their secrets. How's that sound?
Sounds
I
like
like
a threat
that.
to several people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it can go a couple of
Okay,
different ways.
So now it's young master, Mampley?
Yes.
Oop. Okay, so will the kingdom, and I'm going to put this down here. Will the kingdom strip young Master Mampley of his magic for raising the spirits of the dead masters of the school to learn their secrets? Okay. So I'll go ahead and start a scene, and I will start a scene in the let's say in the inner parlor, and let's say that Capricia Girth is there,
Always.
and that my character Donegal has heard rumors, and he's going to try and get information about what has happened. He's heard that something has gone on. Does that seem reasonable?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So we've got the inner parlor there. It's a beautiful tea room. Unlike some of the other Gothic architecture of the school, the tea room is beautifully set. There are doilies. They might have pentagrams in them, but they're still doilies, and they're lovely. And there's all kinds of teas and cookies and crumpets in there. And Donegal, has his little collar, turned up, and he sees Capricia Girth, someone he studied alongside. And sometimes he feels kind of stupid when he's around her because, of course, he failed and she actually managed to do this. But he will come over and he will say, "Lady Girth."
Oh, Donegal, it's excellent to see you.
Yes.
Have you seen the young students? They're doing so well in their sprints. I'm very pleased, very pleased.
Oh, but I understand.
In fact, we should celebrate with some almond cookies. And some persimmon tea, please, persimmon tea.
As you wish. I will go and get you the almond cookies and bring the almond cookies over and the persimmon tea, which sounds foul to me.
Oh, it goes perfectly together. She eats like a stack of almond cookies at one time. Crumbs everywhere. She has no kindness.
So yes. So the students are able to run with needles and not stab themselves now.
It's lovely, isn't it? A whole new generation. It will be amazing. This year will be the year, Donegal. The year. I could just feel it. It's been such a long time coming. I mean,
yeah.
It's like it's at least a good 50 years between our champion needlers. First it was old Mistress
old Mistress
Lampley. She was and is still legendary for her skills. None have ever matched them.
We fade into a montage of her telling the stories and me nodding until finally he kind of sets the tray down with a kind of a start to break the conversation. Say, I did have a question for you, if I may.
Yes, Mistress Lampley was amazing. What do you need to know about her?
I had heard that one of the students had been caught, perhaps doing necromantic activities. Is that true?
Purely a misunderstanding. A research project.
But he was playing with necromancy.
I think that's a technical definition that's being used politically. I'm sure the truth will out in all of this.
So it's technically correct to say that he was practicing necromancy. Yes. Just a petite amount of the raising of the dead and the...
Yes. If every ism means the particular ism that was in the oldest dictionary that ever had isms, it would be technically correct.
Yes, fair enough. All right.
It doesn't take in the more modern definitions of magic and the opportunities that these things open to us for, understanding how things have been through all the ages.
Fair
so
enough.
Much excellence lost to us.
He will gather
we
up the
feel this
teas.
loss.
Yes, very good.
I mean...
and he will depart from there, perhaps a little nervous about what he has just heard. And because he does work with the staff, and he is probably an inveterate gossip, he will probably speak to people about that. And so I'm going to establish as the touchstone that folks are a little nervous about the possibility that students are raising the dead.
technically raising the dead for a short time to have a little chat. Certainly something the dead have plenty of time for.
Folks are a little nervous about the possibility that students are technically and actually raising the dead. Okay.
Okay.
Now let's talk about the process there that we go by when we play. After I've done my scene and I've kind of just shown what the character does or thinks about the crossroad, if you want, in play order, other people can briefly say where their character is at or what they think about it. You don't have to do that. It's sort of an optional thing, especially if you want to show something about how your character hears about a particular conversation or sees something. And so the quick thing is I'll just say everybody's name and you can say scene or pass. So Andrea?
Scene.
Okay.
So I think we see Ren and a group of other students in the hallway, and as soon as the teachers kind of walk past, they kind of all cluster, and they start whispering to each other really excitedly that this particular student had found this necromantic ritual that supposedly he should not have been able to do, and imagine the possibilities this opens up for the rest of us.
Okay, so we see the viral spread of this, the meme. Rishi?
I think scene. I think a meeting between Diego and the Industrialist, finding out about the necro. The student. Diego's position is that the student poses a danger to himself and to the other students and should be stripped of his power, but the Industrialist says that this is an opportunity to study him.
Yeah.
And so that there's a little bit of tension there.
Okay. And we may come back, that seems like a kind of a maybe a scene we want to actually play out. So we might want to come back to that one. Sherry, you were in the scene. William, anything you want to do in terms of sort of background color, scene, or pass?
I think pass this time around.
Okay, and you'll see we kind of play around with what the level is we're doing of it, and also you'll see me rushing. So tell me if I go too fast, because that's what I do when I do things. So I'm going to apologize. Now, when it gets to the end of my turn, I have a choice of advancing cards. I could advance the kingdom card, the question, to show that we're getting closer to making a decision on it. Or I could advance the crisis if I thought that what happened in the scene was causing terrible things to occur. And as the touchstone, if I wanted to, I could actually do 2 boxes on the crisis and be an evil person. So that's the possibility the touchstone has. Or I can hit time passes if I think nothing really occurs. So I'm going to go ahead and click an X on the kingdom because I think that we established the basics and we've got some stuff towards the question. Now I do want to stop there and say that the other possibility, people who have powers like the perspectives, when we did the reaction scenes, you could make a declaration at that point about what the implications are of the yes no on the things at that point.
Okay.
Okay. A little warbly, kind of gonna get used to it as we do it because it's been a while since I played it. Andrea, I passed the scene to Ren.
Okay. So who do I want to pick on? So I will pick on Okay, I'm going to pick on Mr. Winterhook, or Professor Winterhook, I guess. And so this is the Waroom, which is only the best word ever.
Mm-hmm.
It is. It's perfect for spells, isn't it?
Yes. And this is Ren, and there's some other students there, and he happens to be he pulled hall duty basically. He's supervising, and he sees Ren unleash this spell that it's like, you know, one of the curses that are never taught, especially not to first year students. And, you know, the student she casts that, like, it was like flying like across the room and like lodges into the wall, like with the kind of cartoonish like little body outline. And she looks surprised, like, oh my god, I can't believe that worked.
Okay, settle down there. What did you do?
Just a thing.
Emily, are you okay up there? You need. Go ahead.
Other
And
students
Ren-
come over, they're pulling her out of the wall.
And Ren is like this, like, she's absolutely tiny. She's like 10, but she looks like she's 6. Like, she's an itsy bitsy, just compact little thing. And she's somehow always grubby, and her hair never quite stays up, like, in her braid. It's a mess. And you clearly see her. She's got, like, one of those, like, giant tomes. And she's trying desperately to, like, stick it behind her tiny life little frame. And it's just not working.
Ren, could you come over here? Bring that to me, please.
Yes, Professor? I didn't know that was going to happen.
Well, where did you get this? This is not normally this is not the normal textbooks that are handed out.
Well, that's probably because those are boring.
Right, but we have a strict curriculum that progresses you through the learning of magic in a foundational way that will build upon what you know. Boring is sometimes.
And she rolls her eyes, and she's actually kind of mouthing the words in sync with you because she's heard this a lot.
Again, where did you get that?
That was one of the books that we found. You know, from the old headmaster.
The old headmaster gave it to you?
That would be hard because he's dead.
Okay, so again, where, and then also, who is we?
What, like I'm the only one that has these books? Pretty much everybody does. There's a whole cache of them in the labyrinth.
In the labyrinth? Why are you visiting the labyrinth?
To get the books.
Of course, why? Yeah, why else? That is not necessarily a place that's for students to be wandering around.
Well, we weren't wandering. We had a ghost to guide us.
Oh, the plot thickens. Okay, which one?
I just told you. If you would teach us something that was actually worthwhile, we wouldn't have to resort to actually figuring this out on our own.
Your logic is amazing. Okay, yeah, let me have that. We're gonna stick with the, and he reaches towards the, obviously, the textbook.
She kind of clings to it a minute, but once you give it a good tug, she lets it go.
Yeah, I think we're going to stick to what is normally prescribed as homework and study. Some of the stuff found in here is not safe.
It's magic. Is it supposed to be safe?
Fair point, but some you need to wait a few years.
Don't talk to me like I'm like 2. I can handle it.
Talking to you like you're 10 and hopes to live to your 20.
She does like one of those like really accentuated like eye rolls. Like she very clearly wants to see you to see her rolling her eyes. and she gives kind of a little stomp of her foot. And when she stomps, there's actually a little bit of like a little magical poof that goes out. And it's not enough to like, it's not like a shockwave or anything. It's just kind of like a little puff. Like it's the warning sign that she's like really starting to gear up. She's like, fine. It's not like that's the only one. And she turns and storms off, and there's the little poofs following her out the door.
Awesome. All right, Andrea, you are a touchstone, right?
Mm.
Do you want to establish something about people's feelings there?
So I'd kind of like just to use the little strike through on yours, and instead of folks saying the adults.
That seems fair enough to me. I will grant that, and I will agree to that change. That seems good. And now we can each do kind of a short reaction vignette if we want to. You can use your role within that. So I'm just going to do mine just to kind of show you an example. Will be like a little bit like Andrea did. There'll be the moment when somebody comes to the kitchen and says something to me, and I hear that they've raised the spirit of an old master, and there's a look of shock and horror on my face. Rishi?
I'll pass.
Okay. Sherry?
Was it Mistress Lampley? The secrets we could learn.
That's your reaction? Okay.
Oh, God. I think Sherry's character needs an adult.
Do you want to use your perspective power?
Certainly. I will say that if we strip young Master Mampley of his magic for raising the spirits of dead masters of the school to learn their secrets, let's see here, the methods of obtaining that technically necromantic knowledge are already passed around in folklore, and the students will reinvent the corpsey wheel.
Oh gosh, that's adorable.
All right. William?
I could almost see myself marching myself over to Diego's office to turn this book in and explain what I found.
Okay. So we see a vignette of you heading to the office. Your reaction there. Do you want to establish something with your power's perspective?
No, nothing's coming to mind.
Okay. So, Andrea, which box do you want to tick?
I want to take crisis.
It's Andrea. Yes.
But only one.
One tick on the crisis. Okay.
She is so sweet.
Now you can as with your power you can tick a box on the crisis and tick a box on the progress.
Yeah, I totally think we should do both.
Okay.
Because that's definitely starting to push back against, because it kind of seemed in the first scene, it's kind of like, oh, there's this thing, but we might not do anything about it. But this is pushing against that sort of stalemate.
Awesome. Rishi, now as we get to Master Watanabe, you have your scene.
Professor Watanabe, I was thinking that master is reserved for the students.
Oh, yes.
In
the senior students?
Not even necessarily the senior students.
Oh.
Yeah. Just just using master in the sense of like, Master Bruce or something like that. Just young person in general.
Awesome.
But I mean, we don't have to do it that way. But,
Sure. No, that seems good.
That's totally cool. I like that.
You're the headmaster, so you decide.
Head professor.
Head professor.
So my turn to have a scene. Is that what's going on?
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, Professor Winterhook did say that he was going to come to my office, so it seems like we'd naturally lead into that scene. If possible, I'd also like Professor Girth to be there as well.
Okay. So it's a teachers' conference. All right.
Yes.
Go to the principal's office.
All right. So we've established who's there. We've established it's in your office. And what do you want to do?
Yes. Professor Girth, thank you so much for joining us. Professor Winterhook has been telling me the most disturbing news about what some of the students have been up to, and I was wondering if you knew anything about this or if you had any insight.
What disturbing thing? I mean, they're inventive little creatures. I rather like that about them. But please, a little guidance. What topic are we talking about?
Professor Winterhook, do you want to recount what you've heard?
Well, some of the students, this one in particular, the small one, Rin.
Oh, Rin of the fuzzy hair. Oh, she's got some talent. I mean,
Yes.
ooh, yes, she can thread through the problem so quick, so quick. She was born to be a needler. I'm telling you.
Well, maybe being a needler might keep her occupied, because apparently...
That's what I was thinking.
Well, her and other students have been wandering the labyrinth, and with the guidance of the old headmaster's, head professor's ghost, and discovering ancient tomes, and then using them in the room.
Sounds like they're fine little problem solvers. So,
Problem causers? This is dangerous. They're not ready for this kind of knowledge at this point.
well,
Girth.
then we must make them ready for it. And really, the basics. You drill, and you essentially let them see the goal, the magnificent. It's if only they channel their energy in the appropriate way, we could have another trophy on the great shelf.
Professor Girth, need I remind you that, in fact, before you decided to be transferred to coaching crochet or whatever it is that you do, you were the head of the necromancy department, and therefore, I believe that this falls under your purview.
All the more reason. Why don't you let me work with the students on this? I think that if we set up our curriculum correctly, that this can become a good... this is an opportunity. Something that they feel that they can, put their interest in. We spend so much time on the boring stuff. Why don't we get right to something that actually has some results? They can learn to take pride in their work, and then they'll be more open and accepting.
No. We don't need to deviate from the traditional curriculum. It's essential that we stay with what has been tested and tried through the years. Deviating from that just leads to chaos, to harm. It's not good. No, we need to keep them on the basics.
But here's the thing: is perhaps we're presuming too much. It was the very masters themselves who led these children to the books. So certainly our predecessors felt that was the wisest choice. Perhaps they see something, or those were their methods that we have forgotten and brushed over in this attempt to, safe things up, turn the whole curriculum into pablum. Does no good for any of the ones who have the true talent. And this class has talent. I'm telling you, Winterhook, This could be the year.
I would like you, Ms. Girth, to prepare a report on the talent of the students and how these talents perhaps could be used or pose a threat in some way, but also the possibilities. For example, if they were to develop new skills, what would that mean? What would be what could they learn to control those skills? Could those skills be used to benefit the school in some way? And Professor Winterhook, I do want you to review Professor Girth's findings and make sure that they undergo scholarly rigor. I mean, this is going to need to going to need to pass through several committees in order to for us to actually be able to take any action. But we need to find out the details of what's going on beforehand.
I agree.
Most
We need to move
importantly, I
very
want none of
slowly.
the students to be harmed. If anything, if any student seems like they are in danger of permanent harm, then we need to put an end to this immediately.
Well, permanent harm, right?
Well,
She
you know,
put a student through the wall using a curse that is well above what she's capable of at this point. I mean,
Well, no, she's clearly capable of it. What
Yes,
it is
and
it was a
where's
poor
that
choice of
student at?
target. That energy should really be going towards something more constructive rather than a fellow student. For instance, a student of another school. So, what I'm thinking is,
what am I
what we
hearing?
have to do so, sorry.
you do realize that this report is on their necromantic capabilities. It is not on their knitting capabilities or their I'm
It's
not even
not
sure what you
knitting.
do. Stitchwork,
Quilting.
scrapbooking. I don't know.
Scrapbooking.
Scrapbooking. I was getting crazy. Sir, we do not scrapbook here at Winterhook. Those are the low arts. No stickers will be found here in Winterhook. Those I will stamp out, sir. I will stamp those out. No, the tradition for Winterhook is quilting. And we will... She goes, I will prepare a report.
All right.
And I will review said report
All right.
studiously.
Appreciate you good with that scene?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think that seems like a natural end there.
All right. Now, anybody can narrate. So it was just you and I, Andrew, who weren't present in the scene. Well, actually, I think the first thing we do is we actually talk about Rishi. I don't think you established any kind of promises or threats there about what will happen. Did you? Do you think you did as a power?
I don't think I established anything particular. We could say that that perhaps I threatened Professor Girth's job if she doesn't prepare this report.
Okay.
If we want to establish something like that.
And he scandalized me with mention of scrapbooking.
Okay.
Well, onto a threat.
So we'll say Girth must finish report to secure her position. All right, that seems reasonable. Sherry or William, did you want to establish anything in prediction-wise?
William is left, so this leaves the floor to me.
He's got the magic wireless headset.
Okay.
Ah,
Ooh.
I am
that's
mobile.
cool. Would you like to make a prediction?
I guess I'm still a little unclear on how, just prediction, how the...
Yeah, so this is a good time to stop and talk about that. What predictions are is if you think that something will happen if they don't strip young Master Manpley, or if you want to put that out there as a threat, you can state that. Or if you think, okay, well, this is obviously what's going to go down if they do strip him, those are the things you kind of make predictions about. And you can use that to kind of push your agenda. So if you think that he needs to be stripped, then maybe you'll put a really problematic consequence, prediction if we don't do that. Like, what bad could come if we don't?
Yeah.
Oh, but what good?
No, what bad?
All right. Wrong. Don't type on someone else's thing.
The other thing is that if you want to do one that's like a minor restatement of mind that like makes things darker or lighter, in that case, you can type that in below that, because at the end when we do this, we can choose from these consequences of which ones we say yes or no to. So let's say that knowledge is out there, but something else can happen because of it. So I just wanted to give you that option, not that I'm suggesting you do that, but that you always have the option to take a thing that someone else has predicted and say, kind of, but not really, more like this.
Or contradict it directly.
Or, directly contradict it, because we get to choose it. I don't, because there's that sentence there, that doesn't win yes. That's just a choice that'll come if we choose the yes choice. And we can choose whether that's what comes to pass or not.
Okay. I think if we don't, let's see if this, what I'm thinking is if we don't strip young Master Manfrey, is that the students will start gaining this magical power too quickly, and basically overrun the school, basically overpower the staff. Because we're dealing with people that learn magic much more quickly than we do, so that makes sense.
Yeah.
So my thing is, maybe that's why I'm here, is to prevent that.
Okay. Students will overpower the staff because they'll learn magic far too quickly.
Okay.
Does that seem good?
Yes.
Sherry?
And then I can make a prediction, and I will say,
This seems really tense.
Yeah.
only positive alternatives and channels.
That's
for-
if they don't punish Manpley?
Yeah, it's if they don't, they'll still learn that the hard way, since they all have access to it. But only positive alternatives and channels for the power will prevent chaos.
Okay.
So I wish I could spell again,
Fair enough.
or I should say I wish I could type. Okay.
I guess there's probably another moment, probably almost an exact parallel for my reaction scene. of the last scene where somebody else comes in from the other side of the screen and whispers something in my ear, telling me about this meeting between the instructors and that they're actually considering allowing the students to practice necromancy licensed. And again, chips go flying everywhere as I hear that.
Oh no.
And Andrea, vignette.
So I think following kind of, it's becomes very apparent very quickly that they had this meeting. And I think you kind of see it's kind of that same kind of hushed whispers, and it's kind of like a montage of the hushed whispers and, notes being passed. And there's a wall in the barracks that you see the students like that they slide this bed in front of, and there's a hole behind it that has these stacks of books.
Oh God. All right. Awesome.
We're too late.
Rishi, now since it was your scene, you get to choose which box you want to tick. Do you want to tick progress towards the choice, on the crisis, or time passes?
Remind me of the consequences of. I know that when if we kick off the Crossroads, it means that at the end of that we have to make the choice. What happens when the boxes run out on crisis and time passes?
So time passes means we kind of take a break and we go, okay, what's going on?
Montage.
We do a kind of a montage and move forward and maybe talk about whether the situation has shifted. If crisis, then we actually talk about whether the school gets blown up as a result of this.
I don't think we're making any progress towards the goal right now. So I think we're actually moving towards crisis.
Okay.
Like we're just kind of spinning our wheels and trying to gather information when perhaps we should be trying to take action.
Right. Well, yeah. Essentially, don't forget that. So the thing is about moving towards making that decision about stripping or not stripping, about punishing or not punishing. All right. So 2 boxes on crisis, 2 boxes on kingdom, and we move to you, Sherry.
Excellent. All right, it's like the Mighty Ducks. Okay, so essentially, she's got her, the anti-reflective infusion paint under her eyes to keep the glare off from the obstacles that she set up in the wall room for the students. And essentially what it is she has set up this magnificent, impossible obstacle course, okay? And she says, all right, I've heard that you are all clever little creatures. Let's see if you can thread the needle through this. I says, I don't care what skills you use. You have access to all of them. But if you harm your team members, they can't assist you later on, and you don't know what obstacle you'll reach. And essentially it is a thing, and I'll probably have Ren in there. She sends Ren down through this stuff, and we're talking about it's crazy times. You can kind of see it coming and take a stop and choose not to do something and come back and think about it. She makes it very clear that you don't have to do it today. You just have to figure out how to get through it by the end of the week, you and your team.
Oh.
And she sets you up. There's other teams, but she says you're not to fight each other. And you want to work together because this is about figuring out how to use all of these wonderful things you have. And so she sets things like minotaurs and essentially classic mechanical traps made out of brass, so they're hard to affect with standard magic. That are these great sharp blades that would certainly slice you up. And I mean, things that are just as dangerous as the spells you have learned, as far as you know. And you have to make it through this obstacle course.
Amazing.
She has it's like it doesn't even occur to her that this could be a bad thing. And she's keeping notes. She makes she has this great big chalkboard of essentially well-known moves that can be made. So you can always come back and look at these strategies, these standard strategies for getting past, essentially it's like the chess stuff where they have this is the known obstacle and optimal moves. So she has a list of those standard ones. She goes, but I've put in obstacles here that have never before been dreamt of. Let's see if you can do it. These are team tryouts. She doesn't say that, though.
Oh. Oh, of course not. Okay, so honestly, I think with the competitive nature, it's basically going to come down to who doesn't get caught cheating.
Yep, she's fine with that. It's all about not getting caught. They're trying to catch you, but you have to be wily if you're a needler.
Right. So like that blade that was supposed to drop down, it's transformed into like rubber or something. So it looks like it's still, metal and horrible and stuff, but it's, and there's a like spring trap where, the spring just suddenly doesn't work. Those kinds of things.
Yes, but then, of course, the bucket of water gets you.
Of course, the bucket of water. We forgot the bucket of water.
Over, yeah. To go back and re-engineer your run. So,
fantastic. But I think it's that go big or go home. Mm-hmm. So since we have like a week to complete it, I kind of picture the students kind of, doing the hushed whispers amongst themselves and, retreating back to the dorm or the barracks and pulling out some of those books and starting to page through them.
Okay.
Sherry, do you want to make a prediction since you're the touchstone in that, or the perspective in that?
I'm going to say Yes. Let's see.
You've got an agenda.
Okay.
So let's do any response vignettes. William?
I think just simply him walking the hall, passing the room, and hearing some of the loud booms and various odd things coming from the room, and just kind of startles him and keep him trying to get away from there. Basically.
Okay. Do you want to establish any predictions?
No, not this time.
Okay. Since this didn't create more horrors for my character, I'm going to pass on creating a vignette. Rishi?
Well, Professor Watanabe, finding out that Professor Girth is using this for her combat quilting, she's cut all funding to the scrapbooking club.
Okay, so heading down to do that. Okay, so
actually, I'm not on the scrapbooking club, so she's fine with it.
Okay.
Yes, he doesn't know that.
All right. So now
this little teacher,
vengeful scrapbookers out there. That's awesome. Okay. So that comes back to you, Sherry. What box do you want to tick?
Well, it is kind of a montage scene, but I do think it's moving us towards making that decision.
Okay.
Essentially, the kids have started using these skills, so there's no doubt about it. Is that the crisis? It will push us there. I don't know.
Well, we'll see when the decision's made.
Yeah, but definitely we're getting to there.
Okay. William, Professor Winterhook.
Um, I think at this point, especially hearing some of the stuff that's going on and seeing that Girth is going her route, he's fearful that it's going to go. So I see him sneaking off to the kitchen to Donegal for kind of like his weekly pass off some information, a book. This time it's going to be a recipe, but very rare recipe. Trying to discuss, I don't know, maybe fabricating a little bit to get Donegal on his side. That all this chaos could be spill out into the general public, and this could be something that could really get us on the map, and we don't want to be that kind of thing.
No. I understand exactly what you're saying. Peeling carrots. Oh yes, I understand exactly. This is my fear. Is you and I know that it takes years to study the necromantic arts, to prepare rituals and protections and so on. I mean, these students are leaving themselves completely open to those things. Who knows what these phantasms, these things drawn out of the hell itself, are coming and teaching them and drawing them towards. And as you say, if it comes that the people outside hear about this, they're not going to go, oh, necromancy, that sounds delightful. No, they're going to go burn the school, kill them all.
It would not be the first time something like this has happened. Yes. I mean, in history, this has happened numerous times.
The students don't understand that while they can do these things, they shouldn't. I mean, magic is a wondrous thing, I think. But the raising of the dead? How do you sell that?
It doesn't go well with the general public.
And here's the thing.
They're all horrible needlers.
Here's the thing. Just supposing that Watanabe tells our industrialist friend about this. Don't you think he's going to be interested in the harnessing of the forces of the dead, of teaching these students great powers more easily?
I could see it easily being trying to attempt to be turned into some kind of weapon.
I mean, imagine poor workhouses where he could keep them working even after they died. The horrors that could be bespoken.
A needling championship, finally.
And I'm quite disturbed on how the lack of concern that Professor Girth has for all this.
She's a driven woman.
Yes, she just thinks. I don't think she sees where this will go. If it's not going with the needling championship or whatever event that is coming up.
Well, here's the thing. What I may try and rap with the kids, because I think I have a vibe with them. I think they think I'm kind of cool, so maybe I can influence them, and perhaps.
Well, I guess that's one method you could do. Sure. Maybe that would work. Yeah.
Good. I see you approve. I'll try that.
Yeah, I think he's just realizing this didn't go quite as well as he thought.
All right.
Attempt to rap.
He's gonna anyway. Do you wish to make a prediction?
Other than this will go horribly wrong.
We'll get to that.
I almost. I don't know if this is out of the scope of predictions, but I almost see you talking to the kids almost furthering their desire to continue this avenue of study.
Well, that's more on my territory of as a touchstone to finding things. So maybe, but I'll take your lead on that. Kids.
You're in the wrong place.
Oh, sorry. No, people's feelings. Yeah.
Only nerds don't like necromancy.
Okay. So that'll be my use of my ability there. I don't know if you have another prediction, though, that you want to make.
No.
Okay.
I know I'm not doing a lot of predictions.
Sure.
I don't know.
That's fine. So we'll go around for reaction vignettes. I haven't gone and talked to people yet. Non-necro nerdery.
Okay.
So let's come around. So you have one, Sherry?
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's the thing is that after the kids have been through and they solve the problems, you see her going through and writing down what their solutions were, and then mapping them to these sort of classic problems, and then going back and going, okay, here it is that they're not, that they've just learned necromancy, they've learned transformations and infusions and all of these things. That's what those books are about. Necromancy was only a channel to those. So she's like essentially going through and writing this whole curriculum plan on like this sort of needling obstacle course and any magics they can get a hold of, and it's just like this crazy montage of her. Brief. That was brief.
Okay.
There's only one sentence. It just went on.
I know.
It was just a run-on sentence.
Thank you, Jonathan Swift. So if you could perhaps then make a prediction. Do you have a prediction you want to add from that?
Enthusiasm is our friend.
Okay, seems reasonable. Andrea, do you have any reaction vignette?
Nope, pass.
Rishi?
I feel like I should react, but I can't think of anything off the top of my head. So.
Okay, fair enough. So that was William. William, what do you want to check? Towards resolving, towards crisis, towards time passes?
I think it's just getting closer and closer to the crisis.
Okay. All right. So, my scene.
Yay!
So, this will be sort of at one of those times when Ren comes by for her extra meat pie. You know, and chips with vinegar, salt. And see that Donegal, has those ready for there. Mistress Wren, how are you today?
Good. Hungry. These look really good.
Oh yeah, come and sit. Come and sit. Perhaps a little of fruit juice.
Mm-hmm.
A little cider. Hang on, let me get that for you. Puts it down. So, how are you kids?
She starts eating like she's never had food in front of her before.
How are you kids doing?
And she's going to reply with her mouth just full of food, of course. Good.
Things are going well?
Yeah, you should see this obstacle course, and there's like little food chunks flying.
My
eye! Sorry, and she gulps it down with some cider without even finishing chewing.
Maybe some milk.
This is good. This is fine.
Oh, all right. Yeah.
Yeah, you should see the obstacle course that they set up for us. It is awesome. And it's really hard.
That's great. I understand that Professor Girth is really taxing your abilities.
yeah, it's not boring. That's better than, well, pretty much everything here.
Well, Ren, I really kind of need to get real with you for a minute.
And she stops and very visibly swallows a mouthful of food.
I trained as a wizard, and so I know a little bit about wizarding. And some things seem like they're easy, but they're actually more dangerous than they might appear. I mean, I don't want to lay heavy truth on you, but just
I don't think it's less dangerous than it appears. I mean, she's got like swords and knives and
no, that's not what I'm talking about.
there's a dragon in there. It's a little small one, but it's still a dragon.
She brought the dragon out. That's great. That's not what I'm talking about. Ren,
Okay.
we have to talk about necromancy. I know all the cool kids are doing it. But just because somebody raised their dead brother doesn't mean that you have to.
Dead brother? What good would they do us?
The dead. Let's say the dead in general. See, it's sometimes just somebody goes, oh, I want to raise one dead master to help me out with one plan, and then they raise another one, and soon enough you've got a spectral army running through the labyrinths, and it just gets out of hand.
Yeah, but there's not supposed to be people down there anyway, so that doesn't really matter, right?
Yeah, but
Point.
But here's the thing. They're going to kill us all. Not those
dead people
undead.
kill people?
No.
Oh.
No, listen to me really carefully.
Her
Right.
eyes are wandering back towards her food.
And he'll sweep his arm across and knock the food onto the floor.
Hey!
When people outside hear that we are raising the dead in here, they are going to burn this place to the ground. They are going to hunt all of us down. And I don't care how powerful you are, there are many more of them than there are of us. He'll put a pie in front of her. Think about that when you're eating that pie.
She looks at the pie, very clearly tempted, and kind of slowly stands up and draws herself to her full, 3-foot height. But if there's an army of undead, and there's an army of them, and the undead can't be killed, don't we win? And she gives you this like on any other circumstance would be this beautiful, just, young girl smile of absolute joy and happiness, like, skipping through a field of posies. And she flashes a smile at him and just turns on her heel and marches off.
Oh shit. And scene. All right.
And we were worried about Master Langley.
Yeah. Let's see. So the kids decide, kids believe they need to defend themselves with an undead horde. So that's my touchstone thing there.
That seems pretty accurate.
And that is not on girth, by the
way. Reaction vignettes from anybody else?
I think Professor Watanabe catches wind of Donegal's interference, and he is not really happy about it. And so he is going to make a promise here.
Ooh.
Ugh. Yikes.
That
Oh
is
my.
Like
awesome.
a month it out when we were both students.
Oh my god. Girth?
Let's see here. You know, I'm going to say that it's that weird thing, but her montage of mapping what the students are learning from the obstacle courses and what kind of knowledge they've gone on. She's writing like the report of all reports. That was what she was set to, and she didn't mean to actually spend that time on it, but this has become like the thing. I mean, she's got all of these matrices that she's worked out and what they've shown, and she's got a thesis statement for each one of the students.
All right. Do you want to add to the predictions?
I think what I've said is I'm fine with that.
Okay. And William?
I almost see. Yeah, I think Samuel is seeing kind of, for the first time in a while, in the Chamber of Mirrors.
Ooh.
And is like going between all the mirrors trying to look at alternatives versions of what is going on and how it could work out to try to figure out a way to stop it.
All right. Do you have a prediction?
He feels horribly.
No, believe in yourself.
I gotta believe.
Gotta believe. All great disasters.
Prop of the
I
magus.
want to add something, but I don't know. Yeah, I just don't know how to phrase it, so that's fine.
Fair enough. Well, now I have to choose what I'm going to put X's on, and while I had planned to push forward the X's towards the decision making, I think that the undead army deserves 2 checks on the crisis track.
Ooh.
Oh my.
I can't do anything but that, given the hell that's been unleashed there, literally
Again.
and figuratively.
Andrea,
it's your scene.
Okay, well, so I think Ren is actually, so it's Professor, oh my gosh, I gotta get names here. It's so hard. Professor Watanabe is in his office, and he hears a knock at the door, and Ren's little head is kind of peeking around the corner.
Ah, yes, Ren, is it?
Yes.
Yes, come in. It's good to see you. Would you like some candy? And he's got just like one of those jars of sour balls on his desk.
And She's like, her little face lights up. She's like, ooh, candy. And then as soon as she sees what it is, like her nose wrinkles, and she's like, no, no.
Oh, I'm sorry. I find that chocolate interferes with the flow of arcane energy. Don't you feel that?
But chocolate's good.
Yes, but right now, in the short term, you might find that chocolate is good, but in the long term, you'll find that it really interferes with your spellcasting ability. Trust me, in 5 years, you'll regret having eaten all that chocolate.
Chocolate's expensive. How much chocolate do you think we get? I mean, unless we steal it. There was a baker's. No, never mind. Never mind.
Anyway, I guess. What did you come here to see? Did you just want to chat about what's going on with the school? Perhaps.
Mm-hmm. And she kind of flings herself down in like the chair that's sitting there, and her little legs don't quite reach the floor, so she's kicking them back and forth. She's like, so Donegal said we might get attacked.
Well,
don't blame me.
By whom?
Like normal people. Do you think that'll happen?
People. They can't even find the school. You can only get here through magical means. Look, Donegal might seem very nice, but I don't think he really knows what he's talking about. I'll share a little secret with you, just between us.
She leans forward very dramatically.
Back in the day, he was not a very good student. He really is not that smart.
So we don't need an army of undead to defend the school?
Absolutely not. But hypothetically, if we did need an army of undead, do you feel that that's within your power?
I don't know. I've never tried it.
What is the most powerful thing that you've raised so far? Just out of curiosity. Just between friends. We're friends, right?
She gives you this look like, no. But
I'd like to think that the traditional divide between faculty and students is a little outdated. And this should be more of a forum, a place where students and teachers can break down the barriers of our traditional roles and feel free to engage in discourse.
She looks really confused.
Anyway, back to this army of the undead. First of all, could you do this? And second of all, don't.
Well,
I'm just curious.
Wanted to tell you that we would try if you needed us to.
No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. But I do not need you to raise an army of the undead.
Well,
but how would you go about it?
There's this other spell I saw in the book where you could basically like make somebody do what you say, and then it looked like that you could spread it like a virus from person to person using rats. We could do that.
That. What do you mean that they would do what you say? You mean having like an army of minions?
Well, we don't need an army for not being attacked, right?
We are not being attacked, as far as I know.
But we could tell them not to attack us if they were going to attack us, and we could have them bring us chocolate.
Yes, well, just between us, let's just hold off on that spell. Don't tell anyone about that. You haven't
Oh.
told anybody. Um, you haven't told Professor Girth or anyone about this. Not Donegal, no one.
No, Professor Winterhook took the book away from me.
Okay. That's good. And you don't remember the spell, do you? You didn't write it down?
Well, no, because I didn't know he was going to take the book away. I
Okay.
could get it back, though. There's a spell in one of the other books that Emily has that lets you walk through walls.
Yes.
That's a good spell.
Do you need help cataloging the spells that are in these books? I mean, perhaps we need to know exactly what is in these old books. You know, a lot of that knowledge was lost, and it usually takes people years to learn those spells.
I know. They say we're gifted. Professor Girth is really nice. She says we're the
Definitely.
best class she's ever seen.
Yes, definitely gifted. It is an honor to teach all of you, but still a little taken. We don't want things to get out of hand. You wouldn't want to see things get out of hand.
No,
If
because
the
then we'd
school
need an army of
closes,
the
you have
undead.
to go back home. You wouldn't want that, would you? You
She
like
gets
it
really
here.
she gets really quiet, and you see her lower lip kind of start to come out a little bit in a pout. No.
So yes, so it is okay to experiment a little, but with the guidance of your professors. Remember, open dialogue between professors and students. That's what we're looking for here.
Yeah. And Professor Girth says that those are really good spells. I mean, not the one where you make people do stuff and raise armies of undead, because the other professor took that book. But like going through walls and transforming everyday objects into weapons and that kind of thing is good.
Yes, it can be good and it can be bad. It's really quite a complicated issue. Perhaps I'll start a symposium on this. Would you like
What's
to
a
gather some
symposium?
students for a symposium?
What's a symposium?
It's a place where we can get together and
Rap.
talk about things. Perhaps there will be snacks there.
Like a school room?
With snacks.
Yeah, yes, but it's different than class. It's a little more informal, and there will be snacks, unlike in the classrooms.
I'll ask, but we mostly just wanted to tell you that if you need something, you can count on us.
I definitely appreciate that. I appreciate that you have the best interest of the school at heart.
She kind of eyes the sour balls again, and even though like her first reaction was ew, gross, she kind of snags one and kind of sticks it in the pocket of her little dress. Okay, bye.
It was nice speaking with you. I feel like it was a good and productive conversation.
And then like kind of around the corner you can hear like little voices like, what do you say? And she's like, I don't know, he used too many big words. That's it.
All right.
It's all in the best hands possible.
Girth, the vignette.
Yeah. Essentially, it's her compiling the report in that sort of, carefully bound way, putting it all together and walking it down and essentially putting it into the official record-keeping thing that sends it to the committee. So she's sort of feeding it in to the official documents of the school.
Okay. Predictions?
Let's see here. See, this is impossible. Let's see. Um, no, I'm saying it wrong. Sorry. You're right. Words are hard. Words are hard in this.
That's what I
Okay.
keep saying.
It's like, it's why I never
While you're
wanted
thinking about
to.
that, Andrea, did you want to
Okay,
add
yes.
anything or modify anything on the touchstone side of things?
Hmm. I'm just going to add themselves and the school with an
Okay.
undead horde. And any other means at their disposal.
Including a rat vectored global mind control.
Yeah, it could totally work.
Okay. William, any kind of vignette there?
I think we see Professor Winterhook in his office, like crazily studying books and brewing potions, and almost like a montage of him preparing for something.
All right. Any predictions you want to add?
To be honest, Sherry, I think just is nailing what I was going to say. So
Okay.
just second
And
hers.
my vignette is my character coming out of the alchemist's office with a new magical antacid that he's even as he's walking down the hallway. All right.
Do I get to make a promise even though I was in the scene?
Yeah, you can do that. Yeah, sure.
So I'm going to say if the school closes or is destroyed, then Ren must go home.
Okay.
Oh, Ren doesn't have a home. It's the saddest thing.
Be interesting day at the orphanage.
But you know, one of the
Put their
spells
mind
that,
control rat spell to use.
Hey.
exactly.
Actually,
I will tell you the spell that Lady Girth has, though. She knows how to change icky candy into delicious candy.
Ooh.
Oh, all students
Yes.
must go home. Okay.
Oh.
That's your promise.
All students who survive
Yeah.
must go home.
All right, Andrea. Now you have a couple of choices here. You can mark any one of the three boxes, and then additionally, as part of your power, you can also add or remove an X from the crisis track.
Okay. Well, I think we're definitely moving towards resolution here.
Mm-hmm. But are we also moving towards crisis or not?
I really want to take an X away, but just the sheer volume of horrible things that I mentioned probably means that X should probably stay.
Okay. Not adding another one, though.
No.
Okay.
No, my goal was not to add an X.
All right. Rishi, we come back to you, sir.
bad day to be a superintendent.
Yeah.
No, it's a good day. It's a day full of possibilities. Step up, man! Step up! This is the days champions are made! Trophies won!
And they kill us all.
Pshaw! So long as we win the regionals.
I think we may have lost Rishi.
Oh no!
Oh no,
Wait,
he
There
moved.
he is.
Tom moved.
Oh, there we go. We got a little bit of
What's
lag.
that?
Oh, we got a little bit of lag on you, sir.
It's your turn for a scene.
Okay, do I have the option of having a scene with an NPC?
Yeah, you can do a
Yes.
scene with an NPC, absolutely. And you can just narrate it then for yourself, if you want.
Oh.
We're getting some lag on your end, sir.
Okay. I'd like to have
Oof. We're kind of losing you, sir.
Maybe try leaving and coming back.
We'll wait.
Oh no.
See what kind of vile magics Rind is doing?
She's
He didn't have any
making-
good candy.
Making professors just disappear.
He's super laggy.
I'm sorry, this is what happens when I play this game.
It's like when you blow up Skype.
Yes.
Yeah. No, that
Just
I
the kingdom.
make things worse.
Now you make things interesting.
I forget, did we go to Crisis when we played the Gulch game?
Yes.
Oh,
I was
yeah.
actively trying to stop it though. I was like, I'm going to do this situation that will bring the town together, and instead it was the
That's
opposite.
right. I got burned to death in that game.
Yes. Yes, you did.
Yeah, that was that one guy. Yeah, that was unusual. And the whole time I'm doing my little person's coming up with an alternate solution, and no one's paying attention. I'm like, damn it!
I was playing the manipulative horror in that game,
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
burning down churches.
that was pretty.
You had an agenda.
I had an agenda, and it was more money.
Yes.
I got the nuns hooked on alcohol and drugs, like you do.
Hey, sir.
Hey, he's
Hello.
moving. Yay!
Hi.
We're all
Yay.
good.
I blame Comcast.
We all blame
I will.
Comcast.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Anyway, so I'd like to have a scene with the Industrialist.
Uh-huh.
You're going to have to say that again, because Comcast...
He would like to have a scene with the Industrialist.
With the Industrialist. Okay. Sounds good.
Okay, hopefully that connection can remain stable for a little bit.
Okay.
But who wants to play the Industrialist?
Lowell should.
All right. So, what's the progress on the school? We're looking very excited about the reports, the quarterly reports that should be coming in across my desk very soon, correct?
Yes, very, very soon. But it seems that the students are developing power at a rate previously unheard of in generations. I mean, there's legends about it, but this is something completely unknown. But I'm worried that their progress might threaten themselves and perhaps, more importantly to you, it would also threaten the school.
Are these acceptable losses? What sort of percentages are we talking here?
We are talking about possible total destruction of the school if things continue down this path. we need to find some way to temper the student's power.
No, no, no. I think you've said that completely wrong. You need to find some way to temper the student's power. And might I suggest that you find some sort of shackle, or perhaps if there's a cancer, that you lance it out from amongst the student body?
I don't think that there's any individual student that's the problem here.
Then a
I
group.
think that I think that we need to just take away some of the power from the students in general.
Huh.
I think we just need to take power away from the students in general. I don't think taking power away from particular students is going to do anything.
Is this going to slow down my timetable?
Oh, no, definitely not. I've got my best professors working on the problem.
And is this going to cost me any more?
I don't think so.
Uniforms.
Just think about if the school was to be destroyed, how much it would cost to rebuild.
Well, fine. Then what is my input in this? I want these things done. Are you telling me that you're not going to match my schedule? Is that why you've come to me?
I'm just saying that there are potential consequences, and you've always said that you wanted to be informed of potential hiccups, because if all you care, I mean, there is a possibility this could cut into the bottom line, yes.
Let me make this clear. I want my bottom line stable, and if anything gets out of hand, I want you to take whatever measures are necessary, drastic and draconian as you wish to be. These are poor children. It's not like they really matter.
All children matter.
What kind of socialist nonsense is that?
I apologize. I must have forgotten who I was speaking to.
I think you must have.
I will do my best to make sure that there are no more delays.
That's what I want to hear. Brandy?
I think that should be the end of the scene, probably.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Any threats or promises that are coming out of that?
I'm wondering if I could make a threat to Diego. I mean, could I make a promise there? I mean,
I suppose you could, yeah.
I mean,
Okay. Any reaction vignettes then, Sherry?
I am, let's see here. She is showing the kids what a proper needling uniform looks like.
Okay.
All of the awesome, epaulets and the stockings with the pom-poms at the top,
Okay.
and the spats and and all of those things, and she is making it seem glorious and glittering because she has some minor magics herself. And she's saying, We're going to do a fundraiser, kids.
Predictions?
Let's
Anything
see
you want to
here.
add?
Let's see here.
No?
No, everything comes of these things,
Okay.
doesn't it?
William, vignette?
I almost see, Professor Winterhook is seen outside the hallways snatching another book from some of the kids running by and yelling, giving them a stern talking to about how it's not appropriate, that kind of thing.
All right. Any predictions you want to add?
No, I think we're pretty
Okay.
flush with predictions. So.
Yeah. Just drinking more.
Exactly.
There,
Yeah.
from my vignette. Andrea?
Let's see here. No, I don't think so.
Okay. Rishi, where do you want to put your X?
It's got to go. Well, I mean, this does throw the ball in another person's court. For
Absolutely.
The end, but that's. I feel like it's better to do that than, because I think we're coming to the point where we need, at least from Diego's perspective, we need to make that decision now.
Right. Okay. Precept Girth, your scene.
Yes. That's it. There we are. We have the gathering of the teachers. I make my presentation. It is a thing of beauty. She begins with essentially what these students have been able to do, and she stops and she goes, "Don't get me wrong. This is incredibly dangerous, but it's also an amazing opportunity. These kids could change the world. They could turn the tide on our chances for any number of things." Her largesse is amazing this day because she's feeling very good about it. So, and essentially she runs through all of the things that these kids have taught themselves out of these books. And she goes, if we could come back with them now that they've applied it, and say, these are the things that we build on. This is how we make these things stronger and better and safer. And this is how you protect yourself. And this is how you protect others. And this is how you win. We could turn out the most amazingly powerful and capable and responsible generation of magicians ever. And as you know, head professor Diego, we have this unprecedented group of students because of the strange relationship this school has with that terrible, horrible industrialist and this accident that happened here. Only Winterhook is in a position to do this thing. And I think that we can demonstrate that it is doable.
Professor Winterhook, do you have anything? Have you looked over Professor Girth's findings? What do you have to say about this?
I've had the opportunity to look over it, yes, and
He's for it. He's absolutely for it.
I am not for this.
Oh.
You are accurate in that they are gathering a lot of power and they are picking up on this very well. Yes, I agree with all that, but I don't see that as a good thing. The kids do not need to be protecting and defending, and they need to be learning their basics.
But they've
Maybe
already
for
gone past the
upperclassmen, I could see
basics.
this.
The only way we can bring them back to the basics is if we can demonstrate to them that those have a payoff for them. It's not that we're not going to teach them those things. It's that we have to present them so that they understand that they benefit themselves. And the thing is they're still kids. They don't understand that stuff. So it's up to us to channel their abilities until they're at the point that they can reason and understand and come back to a respect for those skills that you know so well are necessary as a responsible wizard.
Yes, but I know and respect these skills because I spent years building up to it, not taking the fast track to it. This isn't a competitive invisibility.
She sort of stops and thinks, no, but it is a competitive thing. They were already way ahead of them. The only way that we can keep them from running beyond our grasp is for them to compete against each other. But not in a way that's deadly, but that's in a way that we can channel it so that they see that it builds a magnificent and good thing. It's about you bringing your perspective about what's important into their lives and helping them apply what they do to those things. It's like good teamwork. We're the coaches. They're the team. We can't do it for them. And they're already better at this than we are.
I get some of that, but there should be some things that are off limits, and they will learn this perspective by seeing the grand scheme of the history of everything that we've done over the long term, not the quick jumps and the quick fixes. That's not going to grant them any skills that will sustain them. We're moving too quickly.
But they've already... And she sort of
Is there a middle ground?
I guess there could be middle ground.
She goes, what middle ground are you suggesting, Head Professor Diego?
What we are looking for is we do want to make sure that the students stay safe and make sure that they aren't growing their power too quickly. But we also do want them to develop into powerful mages.
Yes.
So they can protect the tradition of Winterhook.
Yes. Yes, definitely, to protect our traditions.
Excellent.
Our traditions of Winterhook.
Mm-hmm.
I can't argue with your passion. I understand that, and it's a good thing. I see that as a good thing, but I just think some methods should be off limits, and I think necromancy. I mean, that's just going too far.
I have an excellent idea. Why don't we have any given day, we choose a method that's off limits for the day, and everything that they do, they have to do it without using that method. Then they'll learn how to control what method they use.
I think it's an interesting experiment. Perhaps we could try it with a small group of students. Some of the more talented ones, under close supervision. And
Yes,
then we'll
definitely.
see if it's something that we would implement with the whole student body.
All right. And she sort of turns, and she has already this prepared folder. And it probably said needling team perspectives at one time, but she's carefully sort of covered that over, and it says most promising students. And she sort of hands that over, and she goes, I might suggest them.
Okay, I'm going to say, can we cut the scene there?
Yes.
Okay.
All right.
So, Sherry, do you have
Yes.
a prediction you wish to add?
No, I'm cool with all of our awesome predictions.
Okay. William, vignette or prediction?
No.
Okay. I'm good with where the touchstone is at. Andrea?
I'm good where the touchstone is at 2.
Rishi, any promises? Any orders?
I think I'm good with what the consequences will be as it is. I mean, I don't really have consequences for yes or no,
Right.
but I think we kind of see where it's going.
All right. Sherry, where are we putting the X?
We are putting on Will the Kingdom make its decision?
Okay. You just narrowly averted that crisis, lady. All right, let's walk through the process. We're going to kind of move a little speedily through here, so I'm going to apologize if I kind of move things along. So the first thing we would do in step one of resolving the crossroad, now we have all the X's filled, is we would figure out if this is the last turn. And in this case, yes, this is the crossroad that we've resolved, and we're probably going to end the game after we're done resolving this crossroad. Next, we set the stage. The crossroad is essentially that the question is whether we're going to strip young Master Manpley of his magic for raising the spirits of dead masters of the school to learn their secrets. So the first person who did this, are we going to punish them? And if yes, the two predictions that are on the table are the methods of obtaining technically necromantic knowledge are already passed down in folklore. Students will reinvent the corpsey wheel. And B, the magics will go underground for a time, but students have learned the necessary resilience to succeed in wizardly sports. If we don't punish him, here are the possible outcomes. The students will overpower the staff because they learn magic far too quickly. The students will learn the hard way how to channel the power that all of them have access to. Only positive alternatives and channels for the power will prevent chaos. C, Manpley who? The important thing was always the lost knowledge. And D, the kids want to help and feel useful and accomplished. As long as the school can walk that razor's edge, they can raise up responsible measures, though at the cost of cautionary examples. So those are the stakes. Rishi, you are the power. Do we punish and strip young Master Manpley, or do we not?
It almost seems like I'm damned if I do and damned if I don't.
Well, let me tell you, just because it's the first time through, after you make the decision, we're going to check with the perspectives of people who put those things down and see whether those actually do come true or not.
Oh, okay. Okay. I'm going to say that I was moved by Professor Girth's argument. I feel like there can be a middle ground. We are not stripping him of his power.
Okay. So we say no. And the power, because you're the only power, you get the vote if and decision. If there was another power, there might be conflicts there. If one of us wanted to challenge, we could change our role, but we're going to kind of move on past that. Now, there are a number of orders that you put down there. Are any of them going to get resolved?
You mean the promises?
The promises.
Yeah. Girth does finish a report, so that doesn't go that.
Okay.
Knowledge of necromancy going beyond the walls.
I don't think we've established that happened at all, so I don't think I'm going to get...
The school, as far as I know, is not closing.
Okay.
And I have some ideas of what Diego needs to deliver, but we haven't really established if that has happened or not. So
that seems
I don't think any of these. I feel like if I had played before, I think I might have tied them more to the actual crossroads.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
That's it.
Okay, now we're going to look at the predictions. For each prediction on the winning side of the crossroad, the prospective player who wrote it is going to resolve it. So, on the no side, who wrote the students will overpower the staff because they'll learn magic far too quickly? I believe that is William.
That was me.
Yeah. Does that come true or not?
Maybe this is being an optimist, but I'm almost thinking because we settled this way and we went with Girth's method, it actually does not.
That's perfect. And essentially, because you're allowed to, things have happened that changed your mind. So we will cross that out. Do we have a strike through? I can't remember if we have a strike through.
Yeah, it's in format, I think.
Okay. So format, strike through. Okay. Students will learn the hard way how to channel that power. Who is that? Sherry, is that yours?
Yeah, that was mine. My thing is I'm going to say that though part of it's true, they have a lot less of the hard way to do because we have sort of come around to that middle path where the instructors are going to be assisting them.
Okay.
So there'll still be mistakes, but it isn't going to be them on their own.
Okay. That seems reasonable. Mamply who? Does that come?
I think that's true.
Okay.
He ends up being not one of the amazing students.
All right. And the final one, the sort of the big one that this is sort of both you and William kind of agreed on that one.
Yep.
You guys cool with that coming true?
Yeah. And I really see the cautionary examples of involving both the students, essentially bad things happening to some of the students and bad things happening to some of the teachers.
Okay. And you're cool with that, William?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Does Winterhook kind of come around to this?
Grudgingly, yes.
All right. Now
It's going to happen.
We're going to do the touchstone, and each touchstone decides whether everything that has happened during the Crossroad resolution has brought the kingdom closer to disaster or calmed the situation down. We will each show what our character thinks about what's happened, show where we are, and say if we think it's bad for the kingdom and check off another crisis box, or if we think it's good, we can uncheck one. So, Andrea, what do you?
I think. I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
I think it actually it ends well. Like I'm going to take off an X because the way Girth is going about it specifically is she's challenging the students, but it's fun and it's entertaining and it's really keeping them focused on the good things as opposed to, hey, look what we can do when nobody's looking.
All right. And I'm not going to take an X off, but I'm going to say that definitely the adults are, now that the necromancy stuff is talked about less, there's less tension of it. How does that sound? Does that sound reasonable?
Mm-hmm.
And while Donegal is certainly keeps looking around corners in case there might be the undead wandering around the halls, he's okay with things. We can now, each of us are going to look at our wish and fear in sort of turn order and see whether what has happened kind of fits with that. And so my hope is that the school will eventually become revealed openly and accepted. This has kind of worked against that because there still is, if people find out what we've done here, it could be bad. So I think my attitude still stays the same, but I'm a little more pessimistic. Andrea?
Mine was, I fear Winterhook will become a twisted prison for those who are different. And, it's hard to say because we didn't really move this into a global community, so it's sort of kind of a neutral, because we stayed very much within the walls.
Right.
So I can't really say either way.
Okay.
But does it feel prisony?
It doesn't feel prisony, but
So,
I mean that's not to say that other
bit
people
better?
will approve.
Maybe a little bit?
A little bit, a smidgen.
Yeah.
A smidgen. It really goes back to how the other wizarding schools are going to feel about Wizardhook's kids.
Yeah.
Especially after we kill them, we slay them in the Needling.
But not literally.
Maybe a little literally.
Okay.
It's fine. We can bring them back.
Oh, God.
Don't tell anyone. Shh, kids, don't say a thing.
Diego Watanabe?
I actually think his fear came true. I think the school is becoming a tool where those with power will exploit the children. They're going to, I believe that what they're going to be doing is that they're going to be using the power that the students have obtained in order to gain wealth for themselves, perhaps by using the students' powers to perform tasks for them or something like that.
Interesting. And if we were continuing on to another Crossroad, that attitude, that fear might impact your further reactions. Sherry, what about you?
We will be a regional powerhouse among the sporting wizards. This is the thing. And so since I've kind of gotten my wish, I have to resolve my issue. So essentially right after they take regionals, Capricious Girth disappears. Though there is one very round seeming practice dummy that remains in the war room
Oh,
that is incredibly hard to get past in the obstacle courses for
oh my
needling.
God.
Fantastic.
Oh my God. And William?
I think his fear did not happen. They avoided his fear of falling into chaos and destroying itself.
And is he confused? Did he get good advice from the mirrors, or is he now wondering about what the mirrors told him and how much is true or not true?
I'm thinking since none of the mirrors really gave an option of negotiating and meeting in the middle, yeah, he's quite confused as to what they're really showing. Is it alternatives, or is it just showing worst case, best case
Awesome.
scenarios?
And we would now tick time passes, and we would move on if we were going to do another Crossroads. But that's it. That's the basics of Kingdom. As you can see, the more you play it, a little bit faster you get, and you kind of get a sense of how predictions and things work. I've played it now 7 or 8 times, I think, and I like it.
Oh my God! Half of those times have been with me.
Yeah.
That's kind of
I know.
terrifying.
Yeah.
No. And
We only
every
went to
time
Crisis once.
yeah, that's true.
So still a little rough. I've only done it once face to face. All the other ones have been online. I hope Rishi, William, I hope you had an okay time with that. Kind of got the gist of it.
Yeah, it was fun.
And if you read through the book, I think you'll see where some corners were cut and get a better sense of how it works. But I think it's a solid game. All right, I'm going to stop recording now.